How's it going, everybody? I'm here today playing Kingdom Wars. Now, I bought this game a couple of years ago for about $5, but it has since gone free to play, and it is a strategy MMO, kind of like Stronghold Kingdoms, except instead of being two-dimensional, it's actually full 3D battles and a lot of actual RTS army management. So I was optimistic for this game back in the day, but it just never really seemed to take off, and there are only 56 players online currently. However, the most recent reviews have been very positive, and that's up from a mixed review score, so I thought I would try it again since I hadn't tried it since it went free to play, and see what it's all about. So my first city's unlocked. Has a lot of flashing buttons here. I don't know why you need to flash both of them at the same time. And another interesting thing I noticed is that the studio, Reverie Studio, I believe it's called, their Twitter has been banned or deleted, which I found rather humorous given the fact they still link to it on their website. So anyway, it shows all the signs of disinterest from the developer, but I found it rather fun back in the day, so we're going to start with New City 1. And you can choose between 3 races, men, elves, and orcs. I would just choose the humans, because I think that is the sort of the default experience. Now you can select 3 regions. The Alpine sort of takes place in the hills. We have the plains and the forest. Now there are bonuses to each of these, but I'm not going to bother reading them off. However, I think we're going to start with Alpine since this is the first. Obviously, it should be the default. So continue on from there. So now here we can customize our civilization a bit. Since I am somebody who doesn't play very offensively, I'm going to choose Defense Mastery. Move on from there. There's a second trait, so I'm a very good farmer, I think. So I'm going to choose Farming and move on from there. Play as myself, and yeah, you'll accept that. So I've set up my first city. City 1. The other 2 cities are locked. I don't have any premium left, but we're going to do the tutorial to see what this is about. So now there are 4 tutorials: commanding units, building, resources, and siege mechanics. Let's start off at the beginning with the building tutorial. So I see they haven't really corrected this. I never cared for their sort of artistic panning sweeps. They tend to make you dizzy. Right? It gives me motion sickness at least. Anyway, Tutor, the Great Lake reflects well on us today, my lord, for today we shall begin the building of thy empire. That's another thing I didn't care for the last time I played this, was the fact that they kept substituting regular English words for Old English words, and it just completely throws me off. It takes twice as long reading the text, and for no apparently good reason. Anyway, here we go around the campfire. This is where the camera will do its little bit of trickery, mastery, whatever you want to call this. This is where you get dizzy, though, watching it. This is where you get motion sickness, because it's moving too fast. Anyway, the good people of Teria hath honed their skills of city construction for many hundreds of years. Some say cities are the art of the human race. Our great architecture sneers at the chaos of the orc efforts, or the cramped... Hey, it stopped spinning. That's nice. Or the cramped dwellings of elves. Our buildings are elegant, proud, and orderly. Cool. Look yonder. See the double cross emblem? That sign is the symbol of mighty Dagbor. Learn it well, for these symbols mark the plots upon which thou shalt build. When thou seest such a symbol near the town hall, thou canst build upon it almost any building, whether it be a barracks, barn, a workshop, a stable, or a blacksmith's smithy. But thou canst only build 1 building per plot, so 'tis best to choose wisely. Thou shalt begin by building a blacksmith on the plot. Select the plot, and from the new interface menu, choose blacksmith icon. Okay, we're selecting the plot. Build stables, siege, tavern. I went the long way, didn't I? Here we go, here's blacksmith. And it would be constructing, 40% done. Right. Tutor, I am most impressed. 'Twill not be long before thy settlement grows into a mighty empire. Farms are kept out of the cities, but sometimes it is possible to find suitable farmland in nearby areas. These places will be marked by a flag and a double-cross plot. much like the plots in thy town. Land that like this is coveted, and thou mayest find much competition from both men and rogue beasts who might put up a fight. But if thou art able to locate an unguarded farm plot or conquer one, the flag will turn blue, and the plot can then be built on. So thank goodness they stopped with that camera nonsense. That I will give them credit for that. That is a vast improvement over what was going on before, because I would be here sitting down trying to read text, trying to read tutorials, and in the background the camera is just flailing about madly in circles. I wanted them to slow it down, but this is even better, where it just stops after it sort of gives you the tour. So I'll give them credit for that. That is a lot better. So scouts have reported unguarded farmland nearby. Claim it by moving thy peasants to the area, my lord. Then select a farm plot and build a mill upon it. So you're just going to move the peasants there. Now the overall terrain has been changed as well. When I originally started playing this, the terrain was generally well kept, very green. Now it appears to be a little bit more torn down, which I guess adds to the theme of rebuilding it. So here's a building plot. I'm going to build a mill on it, construct that. Yes, overall I'd say it's for the better. Thou hast done it well by the lake. At a later time we shall discuss harvesting wheat, but today there is something else I must teach thee. Thou wilt need houses to support thy growing population, my lord. Well, sire, let me see thy skills. Select the town hall and click on the smaller house icon, the village house. A simple task, my lord. It doesn't call it a village house, just a house, so we're going to go with that and say that's good enough. Yeah, so the objectives, let you know. To repair a house, select it, and from its interface, select the icon depicting the hammer and the broken wall. Thou canst also repair them all at once or individually. We're going to go to these torn down hovels and click repair building. Alternatively, I could click the repair all, which costs me 79 gold. So we're just going to do that for some variety. Looking at the objectives, repair all 3 damaged houses, so we are on the correct track here. Thou hast overcome every hurdle with great aplomb, my lord. By all the shining waters, I deem thee ready to move on to new challenges. What now, my lord? So we're going to move on to the resource tutorial. And for a second there, I thought the game had crashed, but apparently it didn't. We are here with the resources tutorial. Today we shall discuss the somewhat hefty topic of resource gathering. First, as any lord should know, an economy doth require its peasants. Though their job may sound inglorious, they are the foundation upon which all empires stand. So today let us commence by training a band of peasants. First, we visit the town hall. Presently, we are interested in the peasant button. Click this button, and a new battalion of peasants will be ready to serve thee. So we're going to train some peasants. Not going to take too long, I hope. Ready, 50, 70, 80, 90, and we're done. Expertly done. Thy peasants can now gather food, wood, stone, and gold. 'Twould be a kindness and a cleverness to train a horse cart. Horse carts are inexpensive and serve as a mobile drop-off point. So we're going to train a horse cart right there. Unfortunately, much to my dismay, they kept swinging that stupid camera around. Stop it. Just stop. Before we discuss gathering, let us take a moment to clarify the different resources and their uses. First is stone. Stone can be mined from natural reef deposits and is essential in the construction of strong walls, as well as many other buildings. In addition, some siege weapons rely on stone for projectiles, so thy storehouses should be kept well stocked. Second, we have gold, also mined. Gold is much scarcer than stone, and many lords have traveled as far as the dwarven mines in search of it. It can also be won through combat and looting, or received as payment for completing a quest. Gold is needed primarily to train elite units and to research upgrades. But pay heed, before gathering all the resources between here and Dagbor, thou shouldst know that there is a limit to how much thy homeland can store. This limit, it can be increased with town hall upgrades and by building houses, but it may still prove a hindrance if thou art not mindful to spend thy resources in a timely fashion. Select the battalion by left-clicking on one of the units. Once selected, right-click on either the gold or the stone mine. So it's quite similar to Age of Empires. Really, most real-time strategy games. There we go. The peasants will mine until they can carry no more. When they are ready, they will take their load to either the horse cart or the town hall. Then they will return to the mine and continue the process until the mine has been depleted. Now then, my lord, Dagbor has volunteered some of its own peasants to aid thee. Direct them to gather 30 stone and 30 gold, and this lesson will be complete. So I think I found the gold. And there we go for the stone. So the game now does definitely look more alive. There are a lot more textures going on, a lot more subtle environment lighting. Like all of these buildings here, they have little lights shining in them. The textures are by far more varied. You can see here in the capital, there are actually a lot of units on the walls. Little people moving around and lights in it. Now remember the last time I played this, which was about 2 years ago, the game was much more sparse in terms of the environment. So there's definitely been some improvement done there, which is good to see. There are still 2 more resources that we must discuss. The third resource is wood, which is needed both for building and for the production of the finest crossbows. Gather 30 wood from these trees. To do so, select thy peasants once more and right-click on a tree. Once commanded, thy peasants will gather until the forest is laid bare. But do not fret, sire. In time, the trees will regrow. There will never be a shortage of forests, rest assured of that. Now gather the wood, so that we might advance our discussion to the next and most important resource. I noticed the frame rate currently is tanked to about 40 frames a second, which is pretty abysmal. Magnificently done, my lord. Let us now talk of food, which is a vital resource for training any unit. Food can be gathered in many ways, but first we shall examine an ingenious method unique to the good people of Teria. It is known as farming. Now we harvest, my lord. Select thy peasants and right-click on the wheat fields. Harvest the wheat until thou hast gathered 30 food. Once that is done, we shall proceed to alternative methods of gathering. So yeah, like I said, definitely better textures here, but I really don't understand the great drop in frame rate. Now, for those who are interested, I currently am using a GTX 970, which is a fairly decent middle-end card, and for a game like this, I don't think it should require a bigger card than that to run at 60 frames and record, but, you know, that seems to be the situation that has presented itself to us, so rather unfortunate about that. I am currently running the game at medium graphics settings, so it's not like I went all out overboard on it either. Splendid, my lord. There is one more way to gather food, and that is through the slaughtering of livestock. It allows thy peasants to stay within the safety of the estate while gathering food. This is thy barn, from which thou canst raise livestock and research economic upgrades. Here thou canst raise chickens, sheep, pigs, and cows for slaughter. Newly raised animals will be small and offer little food, but all animals grow over time. Slaughtering a full-grown cow may provide a feast for thy entire manor. Let us raise some cows, my lord. To do this, select the barn and click on the cow button. I have supplied the resources required. Try it now, if thou wilt. My, what beautiful bovine beasts, good sir. Invaluable, too. As well as providing food, cows can also be traded with other towns for resources, but for the time being we will let them graze contentedly. For today's task, we must depart the barn and set forth to the market. The market allows noble lords and ladies to exchange surplus goods for goods of lesser abundance. Any resource can be exchanged for any other resource, although the trade will never be balanced. It is also worth remembering that exchange fees increase with each trade, so the more thou exchangeth a certain resource, the less thou shalt receive for it. so what is known as a dynamic market. We hath gathered far too much food for our small manor. Let us exchange some of it for gold. To do this, select the market building. From its interface, select the food icon and the 3 yellow down arrows. Exchange 100 food for gold, and then we shall be done for the day. What now, my lord? So that pretty much ends the economic tutorials for Kingdom Wars. I'm also going to be doing the military ones at a later date. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.